Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack Stanley Cup Game 1 recap for the Thursday, June 16th. Of course, you can follow us all along on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as in the Area 51 Sports Network. It's of course, as last night was Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. It started quite a hockey game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. There, as the Avalanche came out every game one in these finals, they have stormed out. They dominated Nashville. It was 8-6 against Edmonton, and they dominated there. They fired 50 shots on Jordan Binnington and the St. Louis Blues in game two. And this was no different. For Colorado, that has been their MO. That crowd in Denver uh, has been something not only, and I mean, noted here in the finals by Kevin Bieksa, but really throughout the playoffs. It's been a storm there for sure. And uh, the said that the yeah, and the Avalanche full value for the win. But let's go through that because even John Cooper admitted that was the way that went. And Gabriel Landeskog started it at 7:47. His ninth from Rantanen and Byram. What a game Bo and Byram had for the Colorado Avalanche, and what a story he's been. Talk about a guy that's been through a lot. His career was in question. Two shots on goal, two hits, two blocks, 22 minutes and 37 seconds for Bowen Byram. He had a great game. Valerie Nikushkin, I knew, another great ad that a lot of people are comparing players like Jesse Puljujarvi to. Then scored at 9:23 from Nathan McKinnon. That made it 2-0. And then Nick Paul, who's been a good ad, of course, a good trade deadline for the trade deadline acquisition for the Lightning. He found his way through from the returning Braden Point and Victor Hedman. It was 2-1, and then two penalties by Tampa Bay put them in a 5-on-3 situation, and Colorado was able to capitalize. Landeskog Rantanen set up Arturi Lehkonen, his seventh, and 3-1. And it kind of looks at this point like Colorado is about to take off. Vasilevsky doesn't look great, but all of a sudden, the champs be champs. Nikolai Kucherov with another great pass to Andre Palat gets his ninth, makes it 3-2 at 12:51, and then shortly after that, 48 seconds later, Mikhail Sergachev fires a shot from Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli, and we're tied at 3. And here we go. And then it's a back and forth, no scoring in the third. But Patrick Maroon flips the puck out late with a minute 22 to go, gives Colorado a late power play in the third period. Tampa Bay is able to kill it off at some parts of overtime, but Colorado gets that momentum from that power play. And Hedman and Sergachev didn't have a great night. Hedman did not have his best night. But defense forward in that Colorado's relentless pressure and forechecking and speed. Certainly, hard not to argue Colorado was the faster team last night. And JT Nikushkin sets up Andre Burakovsky. He gets his second. JT Compher, who might be the best third line center in the league, it makes it 4-3. And there we go. The Colorado Avalanche get game one. It was a well-played hockey game. You look at shots on goal, we're certainly favoring Colorado at 38-26. Hits favored Colorado 43-40. Blocks 26-25. You can give away 6-2 favoring Colorado. Vasilevsky stood his ground after struggling in the first period and doesn't allow a goal until late in overtime. Tampa Bay gets advantage of it. But I just felt like, basically, to me, I think there was too many quiet players on Tampa Bay. Yeah, Kucherov makes the great pass to Palat, but he's not as visible as we normally see him. He gets one assist. He plays 1802. Steven Stamkos um, played okay. There was a lot of people that just played okay in Tampa, not enough. And John Cooper admitted that the better team won. And you know that Tampa Bay will come out a lot stronger. This wasn't their best game, for sure. But I think overall, I think the forwards, Gabriel Landeskog, Mikko Rantanen, I just thought Colorado's forwards were better than Tampa's forwards throughout the day. And that was the difference basically in the game. What Colorado 1 for 3 on the power play. Tampa Bay could not get a power play goal. So and then you get Landeskog and Rantanen working their way. Rantanen 2 assists, 19-17. It was the game that Colorado really wanted to play. And I'm saying that Tampa Bay wanted to play a lower event game, but I think Tampa Bay wants a lower scoring game. Feel that might be to their advantage. But Colorado overall, stronger team, have not lost a game, did not lose a game one in this entire Stanley Cup final. 4-0. Tampa Bay, they were down 0-2 to the Rangers. And they've been through these situations before. Do you really want to be down 0-2 to the Colorado Avalanche? I just think the Avalanche are better than the Rangers. So I think game 2 on Saturday is a very important game, and we'll have to see. So we'll be looking forward to that. So there's 2 days off between game 1 and game 2, Thursday and Friday. Nazem Kadri skated, took some light workout today in terms of light contact today, according to Peter Bow from The Athletic. So he is a possibility to come back from game 2. Not much else to come away from that. That's game 1. Very well played hockey game. Crowd really into it. And I just, I think everyone wants 6 more of these. One of the better hockey games in the Stanley Cup final that we've seen in a while, and we'll look forward to more. So game 2, Saturday, 5:00 Pacific. Gary Bettman, of course, and Bill Daly had their State of the League address before the game. A couple of some things that came out. Plan is to get the schedule back to where schedule was as of 2019, 2020, pre-pandemic, back to October 11th. That's the plan. Schedule is expected to be out in July. Some other things is the talk around the World Cup of 2024. The both player and NHLPA and the NHL are discussing. We'll believe it when we see it. The other things here, Vander Kane, the situation involving his arbitration hearing could happen after NHL free agency starts. That's going to be interesting. So an arbitrator could basically decide if Evander Kane still remains a San Jose Shark while Kane signs a free agent deal elsewhere, whether that's with Edmonton or elsewhere. We don't know. So that is something to look at. They're looking like that is a possibility of a settlement going on there. As well, the NHL was talked about the CHL investigation from the World Juniors there. You may have been following that story with the NHL and the CHL and the investigation into allegations from the 2018 World Junior World Junior team. But the NHL was made aware of that as soon as the lawsuit was given. There, that's what both Gary Bettman and Bill Daly said. Bettman says they intend to release the findings unless the only access we have to certain information will prohibit us from doing so. Daly said everybody was extremely cooperative. This is it's a last year was the Chicago Blackhawks investigation, if you remember that, involving Kyle Beach. This is another black eye, and we'll have to see. We will see what happens there, but that's going to be a kind of a dark off-season story for the NHL there as well. And so that was the bigger news. And the other part is the Stanley Cup this year. In terms of Russia, Belarus, there were questions asked about that. Players from Russia and Belarus will not be able to take the Stanley Cup back to their country on either winning side. That they plan to do that makeup day with them, but at this point, because of the ongoing conflict involving Ukraine, the NHL's made that decision. As far as the NHL and teams drafting Russian players, Bettman and Daly talked about that, and they said they have not discouraged anyone to draft Russian players. So that is what's going on there. So we'll be interested to see how teams approach that situation in both the 2022 and specifically the 2023 draft, where you've got a high-end player in Matvei Michkov. There's there as well. So that's from Bettman's press conference as well. And so that's the NHL story. Junior hockey, the final entrant in the Memorial Cup was entered, and that is the Hamilton Bulldogs. They beat the Windsor Spitfires in Game 7 in the 6-1. They outshot Windsor 31-7. The Avery Hayes led the way with 3 goals. Mason McTavish had 2. Jan Mysak also scored. And Hamilton's last 2 were in an empty net. It was a pretty big win for Hamilton. So they are joining the Edmonton Oil Kings, Shawinigan Cataracts. I always mispronounce their name. And the St. John Bulldogs, Sea Dogs. Call them the Bulldogs, the Sea Dogs. Shawinigan Cataracts from the QMJHL. First Memorial Cup played in a couple of years. Starts on Monday. Now, World Junior news. Canada invited 34 players to the national junior team, and that includes 17, half of them from the WHL. You got to be happy with the WHL. There's some really talented players coming there. The camps will be held in Calgary, as well as, let me correct what I'm saying there. 17 in the under U18 ahead and 17 WHL players will participate in Canada's National Junior Summer Camp, 23rd to 27th. The tournaments juniors start August 28th. 20 to 27th is the 2022 Hlinka Cup. So some of the names include from the WHL, you've got Carson Barnson, Scott Radsloff, Jackson Unger, Lucas Dragovic, Caden Hamill from the Blazers, Madsden Leslie, Tanner Mullen, Caden Price, Sage Winston, Zach Benson from Winnipeg, Andrew Crystal, Riley Height, Tanner Howe, Kalen Lind from the Red Deer Rebels, Sam Aremba, Logan Warmold, and Braden Yager are the names. So that will be an exciting time for some junior hockey. As hockey's becoming year-round, not just a winter sport, is it? So that is that for that. And then the other news is around the AHL, as the Springfield Thunderbirds have advanced to the Calder Cup. They play the Chicago Wolves in the Calder Cup final. Wolves, of course, have eliminated the Stockton Heat. The Thunderbirds beat the Laval Rocket 4-0. They will take on the Chicago Wolves. That series will begin Sunday. Springfield over 29 on the power play entering that series, scored twice. And Dakota Joshua, Matthew Pekka, and scored twice. Matthew Pekka and Nathan Todd are added singles. And Charlie Lindgren recorded the shutout with 34 saves. So that is the news for Thursday, June the 16th. We will be, of course, back again. We'll see how the news goes. We might take tomorrow off and get back and get ready for Saturday, but we'll see what the news pack tells us. Of course, you can follow us all individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canuck 03, Tyler TNOBLE, Christian Schneid's SCHNAIDZ, Devin Gordhow 09, I am KEVOLE, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe wherever you got your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. We'll talk to you all very soon.